It is now time to view part 2 of the series that News 40's Michael Ridgway has been working on for the last couple of weeks. We've always known about the caves, but this is the first time we've gotten an in-depth look at what's below our feet. Here's what Michael saw below BG.
This is what's going to happen to any exposed metal in a subterranean storm sewer system. Salt absolutely destroys metal, so it's rusting away. So during the wintertime, all of the stormwater that's being carried through this system is very, very, very salty, which drives rust.
Overly saturated and very antiquated is the storm drainage system under Bowling Green, resulting in small failures that you don't want to grow.
Rust is bigger than the original parent material, so as this cast iron is rusting away, it expands and it's chipping the concrete off. So as this swells up, as it rusts, it'll chip more concrete and it'll chip more concrete, and so that will expose this big giant rough head.
So what is there to do? Well, the city is working toward a stormwater utility, basically a pool of money to be used for a specific purpose. In this case, handling water from the more intense storms we see every day.
You look at the cost of the effects of the storm, and then you look at cost of prevention, and you have to balance the two. I don't know how many roads we had closed for days and days upon end that were really inconveniencing a lot of people.
The state of the infrastructure isn't any one person's shortcoming. It's been decades of passing over, out of sight, almost out of mind, and maybe not the most popular idea politically.
Stormwater is forgotten infrastructure. People don't think about it until it floods. You know, I talked about the hydrologic cycle, complacency, you haven't had a flood in a while. Then you have the big one, everybody's upset because the city's known about this problem forever and they haven't done anything about it. Well, they can't do anything about it unless they have political support to do it. And then you have a period when you can get something done, and now is one of those windows when the city ought to be able to get something done because it's fresh on people's mind and a lot of people have been hurt. It's a shame you have to wait for that, but it's human nature.
And some of that waiting might just be yet another part of human nature. After all, people want to move to Bowling Green, and that takes preparation and constant maintenance.
Inspection of city-owned infrastructure is one of our lower priority items because we do have so many demands on us from the development community and from that growth-oriented aspect. It's perfectly conceivable that we could have gone 20 years without ever having seen something like this.
The extra money coming in each month from the utility charge could help with all kinds of potential fixes.
They mentioned the possibility of doing buyouts. In Huntsville, we had a situation where one of our guys was driving into work one day and he saw this building, one of our worst flood problems in town, was for sale. Now, if we had submitted a request to FEMA to get funding to buy out that building, it would have taken a year. By that time, the property would have sold. So the city fortunately had money, and they went and bought that. And a month later, after they had closed on the property, a month later it flooded again, had 2 feet of water in the building.
The estimated haul of the utility is $3 to $4 million a year, which would fund new projects to better carry all the water to the Barren River.
How do we design and go forward so that we don't just rely on the cave? How do we augment them? Do we need pipes? Do we need ditches? Crazy ideas. Do we need to do horizontal boring? If I needed to put a storm sewer under Hot Rod Stadium, could I do that? Well, we could bore horizontally. That's expensive. So in some cases, maybe we need to purchase large tracts of land that are completely left alone, and they're basically large basins, so when the rains come, it turns into a lake. Lake Bowling Green, Lake Warren County, whatever you want to call it. But the rest of the time, it just sits there. And that's hard for some people to understand. Hey, this is viable economic land. I want to put a mall there. I want to put a housing subdivision there. It's a delicate balance of economic growth versus what is our insurance policy.
And bolster existing work around the city, fixing age-old problems like this.
This is all gas, natural gas. I think most of this is unused. We think maybe that yellow one in there is still connected, but the rest is disused. But rather than remove it, whatever contractor was working on this just simply abandoned all this stuff in place, and so now it's free to clog up the storm sewer system and cause issues.
And this.
We talked about penetrations into systems. This is a terrible way to accomplish this. They needed to be able to come through that wall, and when they did, they simply just stacked up some concrete, poured around it to try to prohibit stormwater from migrating out and following the gas line hole. But whenever this was accomplished, however many years ago it was done, they even left the form lumber in there to rot away. So as soon as that rots away, all of that concrete will scale and fall off, and we'll have another big giant hole in the side of the system that water can escape through and cause sinkhole issues.
And this?
But what you can see, we have a storm sewer system that we know is absolutely full to the brim and overflowing in big rain events, but yet in this particular location, over a third of our available space is being shared with BGMU for the sanitary sewer system side. So it's a conflict. We need more space and they need space too. So it's one of those things that needs to be deconflicted over time.
And this?
And so what someone did is come through and put the metal braces in, and I'm assuming it was the city back in the day. They melted through, they burned holes, they stuck the metal bracing in, and then they poured concrete over the top of the crack in order to hold up probably the road. But I have not seen this pipe. I did not see this side before. Oh, wow. I didn't know it was in this kind of shape. We're not going to go on down there.